Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another video. Today, we're just going to go over some news around the league. That league being the National Hockey League. Some big re-signings have happened. Obviously, some trades. And then we're just going to quickly go over the top 50 free agents and where they may or may not go and what their contracts could look like. So let's get started, shall we? Big thing for me, big thing I saw is the signing of Lehner to 5 years, $5 million per, with Vegas. There was rumors throughout the playoffs that this is what he was going for, this is what Vegas was looking for, and I think it's a brilliant signing. He's 29 years old, I believe. He had good numbers. Obviously, he was the starter in the playoffs, took the job from Fleury. He's been brilliant ever since he landed from Buffalo into Long Island, all the way from Long Island to Chicago. That brief 5-second stint in Toronto. Yes, he didn't play trade, but sent him to Vegas, and he's been fantastic since. Great signing. But the big thing here now is they have over 12.5 million tied up between Lehner and, of course, Marc-Andre Fleury. So my thoughts on this situation, what's going to happen? I don't think the Golden Knights will buy out Fleury. I don't think that's an option for them. If they're going to buy out anyone, I think they go for Stastny, because I think there are suitors for Fleury. They'll be able to find him, if not a starting job, a 1A, 1B position with another team. The only problem is finding a suitor for him and who he wants to actually go to. I believe he does have that no movement or no trade clause. So obviously they have to ask him if he's willing to be traded. He'll give a list of teams, and then they go from there. What they can get for him, I'm not too sure. I think they might have to take on some of Fleury's salary. They might even have to throw a draft pick or two in there within the package to get someone to make the trade for Fleury. But I do believe by the start of the season, which is expected to be January 1st now, no longer December 1st, makes a lot of sense since we're only, 7 weeks out from December 1st. But I do believe before January 1st, 2021, you will see Lehner, the starter in Vegas, and Marc-Andre Fleury with another team. So that's my thoughts on that. Great signing by Vegas. Hard work now is finding that trade that's suitable, that isn't detrimental to the Golden Knights, if they get something back for him, and Fleury has the opportunity to continue his career as a number 1 or a 1B goalie in the NHL. So there we go. Lehner, 5. Okay, so moving on, let's go on to just a few signings that have happened. We had Jason Spezza re-upping with Toronto, 1 year, $700,000 contract. I think this is a great move for Toronto. Great move for Jason Spezza. He's comfortable with the team. He gets the chance to play, gets the chance to be on the power play. Obviously, since the move from the coaching staff, they realize what Spezza is, and they're playing into his strengths. Yes, he might not play the full 82 games. He might get into 50, 55 games. That's all you need from him, and he's only $700,000. The way he played this year, he had the most points over his last 3 years with the Leafs. He's a great leader. He works hard every day. Everyone saw that fight that he pulled off in the playoffs there. He always shows up. Great room guy. Perfect, very smart move by the Toronto Maple Leafs to shore up Spezza. I'm pretty sure he probably could have got more money elsewhere, but again, he's staying with the Leafs. I like it. You also have Sekera, so he re-ups 2 years at $1.5 million each. Again, this is a good deal. He gets the extra year on there, $1.5 million. It's easy to play with. Top 6 defenseman. Well done. Then you have the Pittsburgh Penguins. They re-sign Tristan Jarry, 3 years, $3.5 million per. Again, a good signing, right? He's not in the $5 million range. You have a guy in Jarry who had good numbers, making $3.5 million. If anything, look at Florida. They're paying a guy $10 million, so $6.5 million more, who had worse numbers than Jarry. Jarry took and secured that #1 job over Matt Murray. I expect Murray will be moving on after this signing. Yes, they can do the 1A, 1B and split the game, like, 60-40 if they need. They do have that option, but I do believe Pittsburgh will move Matt Murray along, shore up some extra picks, maybe some prospects, and it's Tristan Jarry's net. Next, Montreal Canadiens re-signed Jeff Petrie, 4 years at $6.5 million. Now, some people might not like this. I really like Petrie. He's a top defenseman on Montreal, so it makes sense that he's getting 6.5. Would they have preferred 5.5? Yes. Even 6? Definitely. But years, it's not a 6-7 year deal. They got him for 4 years. Yeah, he's in the later stages now by the end of the contract. Maybe year 4 is not very good, but to shore up a top 2 defenseman, well, top 4, but within Montreal, top 2 defenseman for 4 years at $6.5 million, I think it's a good pickup. On the other hand, you have Jonas Brodin in Minnesota, 7 years, $6 million per. Difference between Petrie and Brodin, I think there is a difference. There's only a difference in $500,000 per year. However, that 3 extra years, I don't like. Brodin, he, on the outside looking in, you might not think he's deserving of this money, but he's a good player, and he does what he does well. Maybe not $6 million for 7 years, but when you have someone like that, you sign him if you can. Why not? You have the guy. And what Minnesota could have done is not re-signed him and then spent this money on someone of similar or worse caliber. So I get the signing. Preferably though, you'd want less term and less money. And then you have this next contract. I don't like this one at all. So you got the Petrie at 4 by 6.5. Then you make a trade and you get Joel Edmondson. And then you sign him for 4 years at $3.5 million. Edmondson wasn't even cracking Carolina's top 6. I didn't see him in the top 6. They definitely didn't have him in their future top 6. And at $3.5 million to be 6th defenseman on Montreal, it's a bit steep. 4 years, okay, sure, can live with. But 4 years at $3.5 million, I think Montreal overpaid. Then let's go back to Pittsburgh. Jared McCann, the guy that they didn't expect to be their third line center. I think they expected Bukestad to be. But it turns out Jared McCann was better for it. He had a good year, and they signed him for 2 by, I think it's $2.94 million. Not bad, so it's another little trial. He gets 2 years to show himself to see if he wants to raise. Probably could have got him a little bit less, maybe 2.5. But I like the contract, I like the length, and you can work with that. Plus, it did help that they got rid of Bukestad and his $4.1 million, so it shored up a chance for McCann to solidify that third line center role, and he did well in that position this year. Next, you have Sam Gagner, 1 year, $850,000 with Detroit. He's got leadership quality. He's been in the league. He's been a top prospect who had to bounce around, who had to work his way back in. Detroit has a lot of young prospects, and I think he's a great guy to learn from. Age $150,000, that's a no-brainer for me. And to think about it, and Athanasiou, that's how you say his name, going to Edmonton, and Gagner and picks coming back the other way, and Edmonton probably can't even re-sign him. And Detroit walks away with the picks, Gagner's leadership, and a great deal. Well done, Detroit. Then you go to Philly, 1 year, $1.5 million for Brian Elliott. Good. You have the backup there that can support Carter Hart. Elliott, sometimes he's an outstanding goalie, sometimes a bit shaky goalie, but you have Carter Hart to play the majority of the games. He's young. He needs that veteran there to help, and Elliott's a perfect guy. 1 year, $1.5 million, especially with Hart being on that rookie deal. Can't go wrong. And then lastly, let's just go over Brendan Dillon. So He re-signed 4 years, $3.9 million. I thought he might make it free agency, but I guess not. Good deal. He might have been able to even get more in free agency, 4 by 4.5 maybe. It's a good deal for the team. Good deal for him. He got some term in there, decent dollars. I'm liking these signings so far. Next up, let's just go on and look at the rest of the top 50. Some of these players obviously weren't on it. Top 50 free agents this upcoming season, and we'll just pick a few. And this is from TSN, obviously, the top 50 from TSN. And we'll just see where they could end up, and let's just do a little prediction of how much. Okay, next segment. Let's do some quick fire top 50 from TSN, free agents. Let's just predict where they can go and for about how much. So we'll start Alex Pietrangelo. I'm going to go with Vegas and 9 to 9.5 million, and they'll go for like 6-7 years. Taylor Hall, I'm going to go, he's aiming for between 7 and 8.5 million. I'm going to pick, or for more money, I'm going to go Colorado no matter what. They're going to try to sign him to a 6-year deal. Let's go 6 by 8 or 6 by 8.5. But it wouldn't surprise me if he just signed a 1 or 2 year deal with someone like Vegas or Colorado for like 1 year, $12 million if they can fit it in. Colorado obviously has the cap, so that's how I see it there. Imagine Taylor Hall playing with McKinnon, or Taylor Hall on the second line with Kadri. Be phenomenal. Troy Krug, he's out of Boston. He's going on. I don't know who or where he's going to sign. Maybe Montreal, because they're getting rid of some players. I'm guessing he's looking at like 8 by 8, 8 by 7, or sorry, 7 by 8, somewhere around there. So long-term contracts, big money. Jacob Markstrom, he's definitely going to get a raise. So obviously he's like 3.67 million. I'm going to assume he's going to be in that $8 million range, $7-8 million range, and he's looking for a 5-6 year deal. Bufflin, tired. Lehner, he went 5 by 5. Hoffman, he could go short term for about 2 years, 2 by 6 maybe, 2 by 5. I know he would probably like a 4 or 5 year deal. Not sure where he ends up. Dadonov, again, similar to Hoffman, he's in that same range, looking for a longer term deal, maybe 3 or 4 years. Maybe Dadonov gets Detroit maybe. Some Russian connection there. Tyler Toffoli, I think Vancouver will attempt to keep him. All depends on Markstrom, of course, but he'll be in that $5 million range, and that might be too expensive. Tyson Barrie, he's not going to get that $8.5 million that he was looking for, that's for sure. He might not even get his 5.5. I think he'll be within $5-6 million, preferably less than 5, the way he played this year. He's not going to stay in Toronto. I'm not actually sure where he'd end up. Probably a team that needs a quarterbacking defenseman. Honest. Could say Arizona if they get rid of OEL, but they have no money. Can't even pay bonuses. Holla, Florida will try to re-sign Holla. They have to. I'm going to guess he's in the $4 million range. Braden Holtby, Edmonton should try to throw money at him, try to get him in there, and he'll be around $6.5-7 million, I'm guessing, and again, like a 5-year deal. TJ Brody, I think he re-ups in Calgary at around $5.5-6 million. Sammy Votman, I think he's out of Carolina, probably heads back to Anaheim. He'll take less money, around $3 million, shorter term deal, 2 to 3 years. Kevin Shattenkirk, he played great in the playoffs, but again, he can't be the number one. He'll be in your top 4, so like 3 or 4 pairing defensemen there. He's not going to get on the power play, not likely. He was at $1.75 million this past year with Tampa being bought out. I think he'll try to sign maybe another one-year deal with Tampa low, or if someone can offer him a 3 or 4 year deal at around $3.5-4 million, he takes it. Let's go on. Brendan Dillon, we know he's re-signed. Chris Tanev, he's going to go for a raise. He'll be around that $5.5-6 million. He's looking for about a 5-6 year deal. Vancouver should re-sign him, but if I'm the Leafs, if somehow I can sort out Andreas and maybe even Freddie, move him, you'd look at Chris Tanev, picking him up. but any team will gladly throw money at Chris Tanev, that right-handed defenseman. We'll just pick a couple others in here. Ilya Kovalchuk, wouldn't surprise me if he went back to Montreal on a 1 or 2 year deal, pretty cheap. Corey Crawford, I see they couldn't sort out Murray, so he's probably going to re-sign with Chicago. He had a great season. It has to be less than $6 million, but wouldn't surprise me if he sticks around in Chicago. And we'll pick one more from this list, and let's look at Wayne Simmons. And I think Simmons ends up signing with the Leafs. I'm going to go, he's going Jason Spezza or someone else, like a show me year. Anything under $1.2 million for a year or two, I think that's golden. One more. Anton Goudobin. I think Dallas wants to re-sign him, but they have Ben Bishop, and I think someone's going to offer him at least $4 million. And he'll be going bye-bye, so look for a 1A, 1B with him. And the last bit, Radko Gudas, I think $3.35 million last year is a lot, but he'll be probably in that same range, and someone's going to pay for his services and what he does. Could be someone like the Leafs, if they can shore up cap space. But he'd be welcomed on many teams. Let's keep going through. Patty Maroon, I think he's going to re-sign in Tampa Bay, but it'll be a while. I think he'll be one of the later free agents, sign on again. If they can figure out some cap stuff, maybe a little bit of a raise, because he took a very, very cheap deal. The back-to-back Stanley Cup winner, he was great in the room for them. I'm going to go with like 1.2, 1.35 million for him. And lastly, let's go with number 50, Alex Galchenyuk. He's not going to be making 4.9 million. He's dropping down. He'll go for a show me year at around 2.5. Played all right in Minnesota after moving there from Pittsburgh. But again, it'll have to be a show me contract for him, 1 or 2 year deal. All right, let's look into just a few trades so far and my thoughts on that. And of course, we'll go over this untouchable Steven Stamkos. Okay, let's just go over some trades so far. And I'm very confused about these trades. So, Sharks and Wilds swap a 3rd round pick to Minnesota, and the Sharks get Ryan Donato. Now, if you look at like the overall season, Ryan Donato did okay. If you look at his time in Minnesota, it was like 16 points in 23 games. He's pretty young, and just a 3rd round pick for that. I think Minnesota's given up on him a little bit too early. I think Ryan Donato came, he was a Boston Bruin, I believe. Don't quote me on it. But yeah, very odd trade there. In my opinion, Sharks win. And then they meet up again. Dubnyk and a 7th in 2022 go to San Jose, or a 5th round pick in 2022 going to Minnesota. Now we get it, Stalock took over the starting job. But Dubnyk for a 5th? Plus you get a 7th in there? That's a no-brainer for me. Sharks goaltending is woeful. Dell's obviously going to be gone. That's my opinion. It has to be Dell. No one's moving Jones' contract. Not right now, anyway. He's been playing. So I think San Jose did really, really well here. So touche to them. That's 2 wins for San Jose, 2 losses for Minnesota. And then the trade that just happened. Josh Anderson goes to Montreal for Max Domi in the 2023. In my opinion, the Blue Jackets win this. 1, they get a draft pick, which they definitely need after losing all theirs when they went for it a year and a half ago. Getting Panarin, Duchesne, Dzingel, and all that. And then getting Max Domi. Yeah, he'll be a little bit more expensive. But overall, offensively, I think he just brings more than Josh Anderson. He's less injury prone than Josh Anderson. Just don't play him at center. Play him on the wing. Play Max Domi on the wing. Don't put him at center. He's not really a centerman. That's when he'll struggle. But on the wing, he gets to be more creative. Let him be a winger. And I think he's really going to shine with the Blue Jackets. Or if they can't figure out a contract, it wouldn't surprise me if they move on from him again. Trade him to someone else, maybe even like before free agency or during free agency on Friday. And he's moved on again. But I think they'll get more for him then as well. So good trade by Blue Jackets. Now, in fairness to Montreal, Josh Anderson is, when healthy, is a perfect complement to their team, to their young, skilled team. As being a Toronto Maple Leaf fan, I would have loved Josh Anderson to be a Maple Leaf. He's exactly what they need, but not a chance they could afford him. Montreal can afford him. They got rid of Max Domi because he was going to be more expensive. Definitely more expensive than Josh Anderson, especially since he was injured and didn't play that much this year. But Anderson had a good 2018, 2019. And the style of play and his size, it's what Montreal needs. Plus, they're about to buy out Carl Alzner. So, with that buyout in place, they can fit Anderson right in there with that and still have cap room to maybe make a splash during free agency. So I guess it's a win Montreal that way if they can follow this up with a signing or another trade. Blue Jackets, you get Max Domi, who, 2 years ago had 72 points. He had a down year this year, but there was definitely some clashing with the team, with the coaching. So I think he'll have a great bounce back year. Exciting stuff, exciting trades. Hopefully we get some more. All right, last thing, and this is just a thought here. Tampa Bay's GM, Breezewell, came out and he said, untouchables, you have Vasilevsky, Hedman, Point, and Kucherov. And people went, wait, what? Steven Stamkos isn't untouchable? And I get why. I get why he's not untouchable. So this is just my take on it. He's finally won his Stanley Cup. Tick. All right. He has been injury prone and he's just unlucky. Okay. He's only at $8.5 million per year. All right. So if Tampa Bay if someone wows Tampa and they move on from Steven Stamkos and his $8.5 million, he's already won his cup with them. All right. They won without him, so they've proven he only played like 2 minutes. Yeah, he scored a goal. Well done. Highest shooting percentage in the NHL in the playoffs. 1 shot, 1 goal. An absolute snipe. However, he got to play, he got to win the Stanley Cup. But the injury and Tampa Bay winning it basically without him, pretty much without him, and Braden Point becoming that true number 1 center, it makes sense that they would take offers. And if they get blown away by something, why wouldn't they move on from it? They are a business, they are a team, they need to prepare for the future. You have someone like Cirelli and Sergachev coming in, needing new contracts or RFAs. With Stamkos' money, you sign those 2 players. And those 2 players played throughout the playoffs and helped the team win. So it doesn't surprise me that his name's been floating out there. And it won't surprise me if someone throws something at Tampa Bay that they can't refuse and move on from him. It just happens. Superstars are gonna get traded. And I think trades will happen, especially with this flat cap for the next 3 years. So I'm just going to say this. Well done to Tampa Bay and Steven Stamkos for winning the Stanley Cup. But maybe Stamkos' time in Tampa is over. And it wouldn't surprise me if they make a trade. Anyway, that's it for today. Lots of news. Lots of things to cover. Next few videos, we'll cover NHL 21 ratings reaction. And of course, we'll go over the top 31 picks in the NHL draft and how I feel each team did. Okay, see you next time. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please click like. Why not subscribe? And leave a comment down below on your thoughts about this video, about the news around the league. All right, see you next time.